What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Picker, host of the Paul Picker Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. I'm gonna try a few new things in my podcast today. As you see, I had a new little intro. Figured I had to do a little MP4 intro without audio, and I figured I had to do my own layups. My own layouts. So I got the new layout going as well. And I'm a reply to a video titled "Major Labels Are No Longer Looking to Sign Rappers." Before we do that, though, I want to give you a word from Dizzle brand premium luxury liqueur.
How we drinking? Me and my team, whenever we link up, they gonna be drink up. We sit down, relax and have few glasses when there's things to think about. Like I'm nice with the bars when I tend to the bars, and I'm not talking drink ups. So tell the bartender that's tending the bar to please pass me a big cup up. And tell that waitress that's waiting on us to put a little ice in it. Now watch the ice become weightless like the spaceships that I be sitting in. No wait and listen, no they're waiting for that tropical twist that'll tickle your taste buds. Now taste some. Yo, I insist it's the Dizzle.
I really mean it. You can Dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Just throw your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. If you want to order your very own bottle of bottles of Dizzle premium luxury liqueur, go to dizzlebrand.com. Click on order online on the homepage. It'll take you to Emilio's Beverage. You must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. Also, you can click on our locations. There's locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas where you can buy Dizzle in store. And the Dizzle brand merch. You got the Dizzle Dodger shirt on right now, as I call it. You know, the white with the royal blue Dizzle Dodger shirt going. So you can get your Dizzle brand merch on dizzlebrand.com, and you can get it on etsy.com, etsy.com, etsy.com/shop/Dizzle brand. Also, we got the Dizzle brand gummies now available as well. DizzleNova.com to get the Dizzle brand gummies. I repeat, DizzleNova.com. Link is in the description. All right, let's get into it.
You really in there trying to have a good time and vibe out to murder music.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
DIY.
Ladies and gentlemen, let 2023 be the year that mainstream hip-hop changed forever. We all know the struggles that hip-hop has had, at least in mainstream hip-hop, when it comes to sales. We've seen the Billboard charts document many a times how hip-hop has not had its usual domination by way of the charts. Now, it took about 6 or 7 months, but number one albums started to come in. However, just like in any business,
a lot of people wouldn't call those hip hop albums per se. A lot of people would call those rap culture albums. You know, and that's the thing. Like, I hate to stop it so early, but I know a lot of people get upset when, you know, people say, "Oh, that's not hip hop." Thing is damn near every element of hip hop is missing with these albums. Travis Scott, the only element that he has in hip hop is, I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert. The only element he has in hip hop is maybe rapping every now and then. Travis Scott don't even really rap to me. Like, he's more of the singer rapper cats. That's not even really, you know, hip hop. Even though that you had some cats that kind of harmonized and rapped, like DV Alias Christ. Shouts out DV Alias Christ, good friend of mine, one of the very first. But he had a lot of other elements that of hip hop that were in his music. It's like, if you take out all the elements of hip hop, we can't keep it calling it hip hop.
and we know that the music business is a business first. When you take L's and you see things start to shift, some of your business practices must change as well. Ebro, a radio host and a voice within hip hop, he put a very interesting tweet up. I got a call saying it should be noted many major record labels have deprioritized signing rappers. The focus is now African music and Latin music. Rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same shit over and over.
And let me chime in, man. I will say this. Afrobeat is on the rise. African rappers on the rise. I remember like 5, 6 years ago when nobody was trying to give African rappers any kind of play. You know, I've always dealt with a lot of African blogs, African rappers. I remember promoting a rapper out of Texas that was he wasn't born from Africa, but he leaned, and I could be mistaken, he might have been born in Africa, but he leaned heavy on the African culture. And I remember, you know, people used to kind of shit on him in the comments, like when he had videos of World Star and stuff like that, they would shit on him in comments. And yeah, now Afrobeats is pretty much like reggae nowadays. And Latin music is definitely popping because every time you go to the trending page on YouTube, there's always some Latin artists. You know, like if you're gonna do a song with somebody that's big, I recommend a Latin artist. If you got some artists, American artists, they don't want to do a song with an artist if they can't understand what that artist is saying, if they're speaking in another language. I did a song with a German rapper before and didn't know what he was saying, but I know the beat was hot, the hook was hot, I was doing my thing, he was rapping on beat. I know they took that the hook was so good that, which I did, they did a remix where there was 4 German rappers, you know, rapping over it, because that's the thing, man. Like overseas, they still really appreciate music more. Over here, it's all about the money. United States, it's not about the music, it's about the money. Overseas in other countries, it's still about the music.
Facing TikTok success and comment sections with so many music listeners and just human beings in general, bringing the conversation of mental health to the forefront, it makes you want to filter the things that come into your brain, the things that you listen to, the voices that you listen to, and of course, the music that you listen to. And I made the prediction earlier this year that if the music is not higher frequency to appease those folks, that music will not be a priority when it comes to people actually buying merchandise or any products circulating around your music. This is further showing that that's the direction things are heading. The article goes on to say, although hip hop has made strides in the underground and mainstream, there has not been a #1.
Let me stop again before he finishes. He said they're not gonna buy the products surrounded by your music if the music's not that good or great, which is true. And also, if the products themselves are not these products that just must have products, then that doesn't help as well. And a lot of artists need to push the products more to sell the music. And that's probably why, because the music is not all that great. It's not selling itself like an Oliver Anthony, his song just sold itself off of the strength of the song itself, the music, which is very, very rare, but it shows it is still possible for you to just put out great music, a passionate song, an emotional song, and people just can relate to it and they appreciate it and they become fanatics of the song. So yeah, he's right. If the music is no good, they're not gonna buy the products surrounded by the music. And if the products are good, it'll help sell the music. And if the music is actually good or great, it'll sell the products, and vice versa. One hand washes the other.
Hip hop song, did not know that, on the Billboard charts. Aside from Lotto's appearance on 7 with BTS member Jungkook, Lil Uzi Vert's The Pink Tape was the first rap album of 2023 to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200.
And I'm glad he said rap album. I'm glad he said rap album and don't call it a hip hop album.
Followed by Travis Scott, Utopia. But I want to zero in more on this label situation of why would you want to prioritize Afro beats and Latin music over rap? When you look at the Billboard charts and you see the music that has been dominating, you'll see that it has been the Bad Bunnies, the Whiz Kids, it's been Burna, the folks that have figured out how to tap into the pulse of Gen Z. But I think it's more than that. I alluded to one, hip hop being stagnant in terms of its topics. Hip hop also regurgitating toxic topics that are now being called out at probably a higher rate than ever before, because you now have folks who position themselves as influencers who have a platform to call rappers out or to call out the contradiction of their messages. Music consumers are not even buying tickets because they're asking themselves, why would I pay you, singular rapper, $200 to go to your show when I could spend $100 more and see everybody that's currently in my playlist via.
Yeah, and also just going to one rapper show and then going to the next. Nowadays, it's like, it's the same rapper every show. The lyrics just changed a little bit. The beats are still the same. They all sound the same. They're all like rap harmonizing, and yeah, when like the sound is just like, he was talking about the toxic nature of the content. That's the thing with the 90s. Okay, you had gangster rappers, but then you had conscious rappers, backpack rappers. You had some rappers that were hardcore rappers, but not necessarily gangsters. And you had your super clean rappers like your Will Smiths, and you had more variety, like with the sounds. You had the West Coast sound, you had the Texas sound, you had the Midwest sound, you had the up north sound, you had the down south sound. Florida had its own sound when back in the days, the Florida sound was 2 Live Crew and stuff like that. And then Florida kind of fell into the down south sound, the modern down south sound. But now it's like none of the regions, every region, the sound is the same. Unless you go with underground artists.
A festival. It's funny how when a thought comes to you like that, how a message will be delivered in so many different places to let you know you're not crazy. Let me draw your attention to this video. I had never heard of this artist before, but his name is Lantana Easy, and he's from Cincinnati, Ohio. He made a really interesting statement.
Hey, man, y'all know why the vibe be so off in some of the black clubs, man? We really be in there trying to have a good time listening to 30 straight serial killer songs. Like, we really in there trying to have a good time and vibe out to murder music.
Man, I mean, like, that's a great point, man. I mean, when you go to the club back in the days, you were supposed to go to the club and have a lot of music to dance to, a lot of feel good, like need some Robin Thicke Magic, things of that nature. Some Anderson .Paak, some Bruno Mars, some feel good music. And yeah, you could throw in some Annie Up every now and then, but yeah, like that's crazy. I would definitely want to lead the club if I listen to, they play 10, even if they play 4 or 5 straight songs and they all murder songs, unless it's like a Mobb Deep tribute, to Rest in Peace, The Prodigy or something, and they playing murder music album. I mean, or old school, even if like old school hip hop, you don't want to hear just like all murder songs back to back in the club, man. That's a terrible vibe. Like, where's the feel good? Where's the Jay-Z change clothes? Just change clothes and go. I mean, where's that vibe? Yeah, that's crazy.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What, we in there hypnotized. We damn near all done lost somebody to violence. That's why we all in there on the verge of socking some shit. Cause we keep listening to serial killer music. These young mad ass niggas talk about hitting somebody with a switch, 30 clip, slide. Man, we in there drunk. We really hypnotized listening to this devil ass shit. I ain't gonna lie, like I don't like some of the music, but it be like, man, how's we partying trying to have a good time listening to murder music. This shit is psychopath shit, for real. Like,
before he goes in, like he said, like, it ain't like we don't like some of this music, but like you in the club and every song is just murder, 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 murder. You know, it ain't even every other. It ain't like murder song and then change clothes, let's go, or you know, Magic by Robin Thicke or something. I mean, something with just some up tempo, feel good vibe.
Dare I say, for the sake of sounding too woke, people are waking up. This is an artist who is actively pursuing a career in music, has so been for many years. When you hear that kind of conversation not only be articulated, but also be spread and have viewership the way he's having in here, it's a whole lot of comments in here where people are co-signing the same idea. And it sounds so crazy because, bro, I remember when my parents were saying this about music that I was listening to when I was coming up, and I was like, oh, y'all tripping. I ain't got no kind of influence on my behavior. But once you listen to something one time, two times, three times, you start to pick up some of the words. You start to pick up some of the catchiest parts of it. And
it's not even just about that. Once you start listening to just this one same type of music over and over again, and they're talking about the same thing over and over again, it pretty much becomes a reflection of, you know, who you are, of how you think and what you want to do or what you want to be.
And let's not get crazy and say that it's going to, if you're listening to something that's talking about murder, that you're going to go out and murder somebody, right? Even though there are some people who are on the edge and all they need is a little encouragement to do some crazy shit like that. But let's not even go that far. Let's just talk about the constant programming we do when we listen to just one of those artists, or we listen to a song over and over and over again.
Ding, 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 ding. That's what I just said. It's not like, okay, my favorite rap album of all time is Mobb Deep Infamous. Straight up hood album, street album. I mean, Survival of the Fittest. But I've never wanted to go do anything that Mobb Deep said in the music. Because I'm also a fan of Gangstar, Guru, you know, KRS-One and Poor Righteous Teachers and Black Thought, The Roots, you know. I also have other artists to offset, you know, but like he basically validated what I just said. Like, if you listen to one artist or one type of artist over and over and over and over again, it's pretty much going to become a reflection of who you are.
We were kids, the way that we remember answers to a test so well that it's still embedded into us when we're adults is through repetition. It's through listening to a message over and over and over and over and over again. Even listening to it when you're not consciously listening to it, just put it in the background. These things start to become mantras. Music producers, rappers, and singers, are you looking to get some constructive feedback on your newest music? Joining Critique My Beats is super easy. All you got to do is reserve a pass to critiquemybeats.com. Click on book a slot and choose if you want to get one beat review, 2 beat reviews on our live stream every Monday. Best beat and best song of the night is going to win a cash prize. Join us at critiquemybeats.com. You ever listen to some shit that just puts you on edge? Because I know for damn sure I've watched movies that have just put me on edge. Well, if we're talking about an audience now that is more conscious than ever before of their mental health and of the things that they're digesting, why would they continue to do the same thing if they want to get new results?
Great point. I mean, in this new society, this new generation, they always throw out mental health for everything. Mental health this, mental health that, mental health this, mental health that. So why would you keep digesting all this negative shit, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot, over and over and over again?
I've made a lot of content that rightfully points out record labels for the treacherous ways, the manipulative ways that they take advantage of young minds, and I stand behind it all. But at the end of the day, they were always going to do that because they're a business. It does not surprise me that after their violent cash cow starts to dry up, they are so easily ready to jump ship and, as Ebro says, deprioritize the signing of rappers. When you think about this just from a business standpoint, and I'm about to get real cold. I don't operate business like this. Maybe that's not why I'm as good at business as them. Because when money is the only thing that rules your moral compass, you're going to get a whole lot of it because there's a whole lot of opportunity if you don't give a damn. But if I have a business, or say I invest into a rapper and the amount that I am investing is not coming back to me, I got to make some other decisions. That's not sustainable. Now, when I think about the amount of rap that has been missing from the charts, I'm not just thinking about the quality of music. I'm thinking about, well, that's a product that's not selling the way that it once was. Across the board, just from a business standpoint, if I invest into you as a rapper, how long do I have you for? Especially if you're making like drill, or you making like some of the most violent shit you can think of. How long do I have you for? How long before?
And let me chime in. You know, the thing about what he said, if you're making drill, the problem when you get to these genres like drill and trap, and the more violent you get, the less white consumers you have. And that's the thing. Like, there's more white people in America than any other race. So, in order for anything to be pretty much financially successful, you know, it really big, it's got to have a nice amount of white consumer base too. You know, like hip hop wouldn't be as big as it is if there wasn't a shit ton of white fan base out there. So the more drill you get, the more trappier you get, the more Chief Keef. Like Chief Keef is the kind of artist, like if you're an artist like Chief Keef, the more you're like him, the less white consumer fan base you have. And that's why you look at cats like Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Why have they been top 3 for over a decade? I mean, they got all the black fan base they need, but they got crazy, way more white fan base than any other artist. Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Drake probably got more white fans than any other rappers in rap. I would bet my bottom dollar on that one.
For the things that I'm helping you promote, that I'm help broadcasting across the world, how many years do you have before you're gone? How many years before that were you a liability? Just thinking from the standpoint of a record label. So if they look at you like a liability, if they look at you as disposable, if they look at you like, man, you can't stay out of jail, if they look at you like, man, you ain't even gonna be here, and then after you die, your percentages of your streams are gonna burst up 200%, and I'll just find another you. Well, this is what happens when they're not making money off of that like they once were, in my opinion. And according to the Ebros, they are deprioritizing rap in place of successful genres that people are gravitating towards. You know why? Because it's always been money on their mind. Last thing I'm gonna say, especially for those who still don't believe, have you ever just found yourself randomly singing like the most absurd lyrics out of nowhere? Like 2 years ago, I had a mouse in my house and I was getting myself pumped up. You know what I was saying?
Got murder on my mind.
Why? Where did that come from? Why? Why did I have that pop up? The hypnotizing ways seem to be shifting. The focus seems to be shifting. People seem to be waking up. Those are my thoughts, though. What do you guys think?
Waking up, I don't know. We got to see about that. But he said a lot of interesting things in there. And that's the thing. Like, even in the 90s, you know, if you had 10 producers use the same drum kit, like drum kicks or whatever, drum kicks and snares and all that, they would, you know, you could have a RZA, a Premier, a Pete Rock, a Diamond D. They could take the same drum track, but they would all put different samples and sounds to it that would make something different about it. Different bass lines, use different samples, use the samples differently, you know. So yeah, now it's like not only do all the beats all sound the same, everybody's rapping the same topics and they all rap the same, you know, harmonizing, rapping. They all none of them are really rap clearly. Most of them don't rap very clearly. It's hard to hear what a lot of them saying. A lot of them mumble. They're trying to auto tune it, harmonize it, all types of stuff. Um, they don't really just go in and just. A lot of them don't rhyme on beat too. A lot of them, like that's the thing. I remember when people used to be like, tell me I was off beat, but nowadays everybody's off beat. Like I feel like a master rhymer nowadays with all these cats coming out. And that's the thing. All these cats that coming out rapping nowadays, they don't really care about making good music or great music or timeless music or classic music. They just care about making a shit ton of money off of it. They don't really care about the consumers. They don't care about the fans. They treat the fans like shit. That's why we're talking about in the other video where ticket sales are going down for concerts. And another one I'm gonna react to with Joe Buttons and the crew talking about, the shelf life of rappers. And they kind of get into this as well, where rap right labels they're about to not prioritize signing rappers no more. So yeah, that was very interesting. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out. Peace.